So yesterday I worked on getting some of this stuff cleared between the beds back here. Got some more to do, but it's there. Got through there, cleared too. I still got some more small stuff to cut right there. And I talked with the neighbor. We're gonna get the leaves out of his yard and we're gonna throw in our beds. I got some stuff cut down in these. We still got some more to do, obviously, a lot to do, but it's getting there. And this is where our new beds will be. But slowly but surely, still looking a hot mess right now, but give us till March, April. Then we'll have these guys rolling and it's going to be exciting to see this expanded growing area. There's the boat. Oh, it's a little windy today and I'm looking a hot mess, but it'll be all right. So one of the reasons why I chose to do raised garden beds here on the homestead is because well, there's a couple of reasons. One, we live in a floodplain, so there's all kinds of stuff in the soil, good things and bad things. There's some good things that come with living in a floodplain. But also because the property has been used for a dump for I don't know how long. I have found all kinds of materials underneath the ground, not even surface level. I'm talking 6 to 12 inches in the ground. I've pulled everything from bed springs to glass bottles. I probably removed over 1,000 beer bottles from the back property as I was cleaning where the greenhouse is, where the coops are. And this part of the property is absolutely no different. There's just as much debris. And I don't know where that came from. There's also car parts and all kinds of things on the property next to me. So it's just been years and years of abandonment, abuse, and I've been working on it. But I wanted to show you one of the things, and it always comes up random. You know, you're cleaning and then next thing you know, you're turning up something. And so this is one of the things that I have turned up today. And I don't know if it's broken, so I'm gonna be careful. But glass bottle, and there has been hundreds and hundreds of these come up, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to do the raised beds. I also found something else interesting over on the other side of the property, and I'll show you that. And also in the ground today, I found this glass jar, and it looks like it's full of little BBs. I don't know, I'll try to get it cleaned and opened at some point. So yeah, there's a tin can. There's just stuff all over. So that is one of the reasons why we have done our raised beds. So the neighbor started raking the leaves, and I was like, hey, what are you doing with those leaves? And we got them and we filled this bed. This is the same bed earlier I was dumping stuff into, and I'm gonna work on pressing it down in there, and I'm gonna put another load in, and then I'm gonna let it sit for compost, and then soil, and then more compost. And then eventually we'll have some stuff growing in this summer. I need to cut this down. As soon as I get all that cut down, I will put leaves in this one too, and then I can kind of walk around easier back here right now. I've got these guys, this one filled with some leaves, and got to cut out some briars and stuff. But anyway, let's have it. today on Duke's Yard Homestead, we are building raised garden beds to put on the back property. I have started on cutting the wood supports, and we're putting them on to the board. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to move them back there to put them in place. Building the raised beds here on the homestead, I was able to get reclaimed wood from a barn not too far away, and so that's what every raised bed here is built on that. And I've also made some to sell, and the reason I did that is I was seeing folks online pay hundreds of dollars for metal raised beds, and I just didn't have that. So what I decided to do was make something work for me and other people that's affordable. You do not have to go buy $100 metal raised beds. You can use reclaimed metal that most of the time is free and throw some supports on them. I think our 4x8 beds were about $10. Our 4x24 beds, you double that. So we still got under $30 in each bed. That also includes the compost that's gone in it. When I can get free materials, I do. So don't think that if you're starting your homesteading or gardening journey that you have to order the $100 beds off Amazon. You can build them for less than $25, $30 a piece. So let's see. The supports for the beds, I have used landscaping timbers instead of 2x4s or 4x4s to cut on price. That's one of the reasons the price is way lower. So on each ends and in the center, depending on how long your boards are, how long your metal is, you'll cut them. Right now I'm working with a 2 foot by not 8, maybe 6 foot piece of metal, and I have 3 supports on it that are 2 foot a piece. I try to do everything cost efficient here, so yeah, that's what I'm doing. And then I also use these lathe self-drilling screws. It makes it a whole lot easier to attach the metal to the wood that way. I've tried using other screws, and this is what's worked for me. Sometimes they're hard to find. Jeffrey's behind the camera acting a fool. He's doing a shower dance, and he's gonna get mad at me. But these have worked, and they do a really good job. It's kind of hard getting the screws through the metal. And then outside of that, once I get them together, I put 2x4 supports in the center, depending on how big the beds are. Hey, the neighbor's talking to you. And so that's what I've done, and I'll show you some completed ones, some that are almost built. You saw yesterday where I was filling in some of the newer beds with leaves. So this is that process. Okay. All right. So when you're putting these beds together, it's best to line your edges up line it up on the side and then slide it down on the bottom so you have just a little bit of a hangover. That way, if your ground's uneven, etc., you end up getting your metal not exactly straight, you will have a little support there. On the last one that I just built, the end, I didn't have it exactly where I needed it to be, but that's okay. Usually it's pretty forgiving. The ground here is also not level, so when I go to place this bed, I'll put it in a space where it's not level anyway. So we usually work with it that way. We have a couple of chickens coming. Can you see them? Can I see you guys? Are you gonna help? Everybody's here. So yeah, it's important to keep that little bit of an edge on the outside. And I don't measure where I put the supports. It doesn't really matter as long as you got one on the ends, one in the center. It doesn't have to be precise. When I first started building these, I did measure them, and I spent way too much time trying to get them exactly right for them to be put on ground that was not even. Anyway, so everything I did wasn't right. Anyway, so I decided as I built them, and I think at this point I've built about 20 of them, you just kind of eyeball everything, and it makes it easier to do as you're cranking them out. And the first couple you build is going to be awkward, and you're going to be like, this isn't right. But after you build about 5, you get into a routine and you just kind of can crank them out. And that's what I plan to do on the back lot too. I'm just building these for right now, but there will eventually be a whole lot more back there than what's currently there. We do. Okay. So we're gonna move these to the back. I'm gonna go this way. Apart and probably just line them up. Eventually I can come back and put another bed long ways. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to join the supports for this new raised bed. And so what I do is I attach in on the sides a piece of metal to the existing piece that we just put on onto that side support. And you can see through there, we're going to make a mess, loud noise, but that's okay. So we'll attach it into that side. We're going to use 3 screws and then we'll move over to the other side. The 3 screws have worked for me. I usually also don't do supports on the sides. Oh, that's a lie. I do supports. And I'll show you what I've done over there on the other beds too. But yeah, I'm going to get this one built so then I can start putting some stuff in it. So we got that side done, and now we're going to do this side. It's super simple. It's a very easy process. Afterwards, not today, but I'll go back along and put in supports here. So as it starts, I start building the compost and the soil in there. It don't start pushing out. I'm not sure if it's necessary. I did that on my other beds, but we'll see. So we're going to get this one done, and this side done. And then the raised garden beds this one is complete, and I will start on the smaller ones. Let's see. Adding, when you're putting the sides up, sometimes you can get it flush and sometimes you don't, and that's okay. So like on this side there's a little hangover, but on this side it's a perfect lineup. But again, you're using reclaimed metal. It's got dents in it. It's not perfect. It's got imperfections. If you go to the store and you buy your new metal, it's a little bit different because you're not going to have the bents and the stuff in it, but this has worked well for me. Alright, so that bed is complete. As you can see, it's not quite level. The ground is not level here. The metal does run up a little bit, but again, that's fine. I'm gonna fill this in with sticks and stems and leaves, and that won't even matter. And then also, once you get it put together, if you don't like it where it's at, you can move it before you put the dirt in. Moving it after you put the dirt in isn't fun. I've done that a couple times. But yeah, you can make it square. You can level it, make it even with your other beds. That's pretty much what we've done here. And then you start building. All right, so to build this raised bed, the metal was free. Check your local scrap yards, check trash piles, make friends with folks who collect things and throw stuff away. If you went to buy the metal, which they do have the sheets at Lowe's and other hardware stores, I want to say it's around 25 or 30 bucks at this point per sheet. I could be off on that pricing. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've looked. But if you can get it free, cheap, used, recycled, do so. You're going to cut your costs tremendously. So with this, metal's free. We have 1.5 landscaping timbers. The landscaping timbers are about $6 right now, so that's $9. Plus your screws, you got 3 screws in each side. I put 4 on one, so 6, 12, 14, 18-ish, 18 to 20 some screws. A box of them $7.99, and I have plenty left. Let me see, I got the box here. I just opened this new one for this. So you have a lot to do, a couple of others. So we're talking let's see, for the entire bed, so what, 6, 9, say 3, half the box, so you're not using half the box. So we're talking $15. That doesn't include filling it. So that's one reason why I put the sticks, stems, debris. You can see it all around. I have it. And then the leaves, that's all free. And then I get free compost. If you don't have access to free compost, that's where most of your cost is going to come in, is filling this bed. Look, the chickens are following us. They crossed the canal. They've never crossed the canal before, so this new territory for them. But yeah, $15 to build it, versus about $100 if you order one very similar size from Amazon, and they'll actually be half the cost. So the next bed that I'm going to build, this is 2 foot tall, roughly by 6 foot by 3-ish, 4-ish foot. For the other ones, I'm going to build the smaller ones. They are cut in half, so you get twice as many beds out of the section. They're only a foot tall. And those are the ones that you're finding on Amazon for $100 or so. Sometimes more. I think I saw some at Walmart for $150 to $180. And so if you cut them down in half to do 1 foot instead of 2 foot tall, you're going to get double the size. And again, for that same $15. So it really depends on what fits for your schedule, what fits your size, what you're trying to do with the beds. And then that'll also reflect how much you got to put in. All right, now that we have the raised beds built, I've come inside and I'm going to work on moving the eggs over out of the egg turner. And because we're preparing for a hatch day, today's our lockdown day. Our humidity goes up between 60 and 65%. I'm also taking the egg turner out. And before I do that, I'm going to take the egg turner out and I'm going to put a layer of paper towels down in the incubator. It makes for an easier cleanup where the tray meets the styrofoam. There's been a couple of times where I've ran hatches and I haven't done that, and I regret it every single time. I like the easier cleanup. Of course, you sanitize your equipment and everything, but with the paper towels, it's a lot of the mess can just be rolled right up, and then it's an easier way to sanitize. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the eggs over. I don't know if I can candle them. It's still light outside, and this room doesn't get that dark. But we'll see if I can see anything with them. I will do so, and then I'll show you after the eggs are moved out of the egg turner. It is always nerve-wracking moving the eggs, so I'm gonna have to be really careful.